anybody think Philip Rivers was going to come come marching into Indianapolis and beating the Niners?
I think everyone in Philip Rivers' family thought so, and so that's at least 12,000 people.
At least.
If it was up to me right now, Niners would be number 1 in power rankings. Number 1.
I mean, that's just ridiculous that you
like
even
if I were
that.
just to went like quick and cut Evan's audio and he would just be the whole time, it would just be me saying Niners number 1 and he can't do goddamn thing about it. I would put the Niners at 1.
Oh my god!
And then I think I would just take a knee. And then you could do whatever you want.
Yeah,
the other spots.
The one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I want the Bears ahead of the Niners, but
why? So so it's more work for you next week when the Bears inevitably shit down their leg in Levi's?
Or when the Bears inevitably are down by like 14 with 1:42 left and somehow come back and win the game, and then you're crying about it, and then we have to move
One
them
thing the Bears have to their amazing resume all year is this unbelievably coincidental situation where the starting quarterback of the other team gets hurt with the lead in the fourth quarter. And where that right. But here's the thing. If that were to happen and the Bears were to knock out Brock Purdy, which by the way, if it does happen, we might have to investigate, and perhaps Ben Johnson and his book of magic tricks, maybe it's just him is just dirty as hell. If we lose Brock Purdy with a 14-point lead, we have Mac Jones, who's ready to go, who already beat the LA Rams in LA. This is probably the best possible situation for us if the Bears do what the Bears have done, which is beating teams when their QB1 goes down, taking advantage of that. They can't do that this time. Mac Jones is a starter on more than half the league.
Well, maybe they'll go for Christian.
Maybe they'll go for Christian. Then you have a real problem.
I will say,
I think here's what I think. I think it doesn't matter where you put the Bears today because you're ultimately going to have to move them. I think you did a great job with all the other teams. I think wherever the Niners are, I want to put them at 1. You want to put them at 34. No matter where they get placed, I think having Seattle over the Rams, over the Bills, then over the Jags, then over the Patriots, then Broncos, then Texans, then Chargers and Eagles. I think you did that masterfully. I mean, that was just perfect.
The top 10 is so difficult because I feel the margin.
The 9 teams, it's easy to find out where the Niners are, but the other 9 teams, I'd say that was probably a pretty tall task, but you did that very well.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like these teams could go anywhere. I feel like we could have put Jacksonville at 3, to be completely honest. The Bills.
Yeah, we have a pretty good interview lined up for you guys where we interviewed a member of the Florida National News, Mike Brodsky, and he admitted that he's very well connected to the Jaguars. It's a great interview, but he also said when I asked him, because we don't know a goddamn thing about Jacksonville, he pretty much said neither do I.
He did say that, but I think the more that I thought about it after that interview, the more I noticed that is the benefit of the Jaguars, and that's why they're so good, because no other team knows what the fuck they are either.
Not even their own credentialed media members. Like Jacksonville has this magnificent cloud of fog and mystery and Duval ? Like nobody knows how to approach this team, and it's like could not be more in their favor. So if you wanted to put Jacksonville at 1, you really could. If you want to say the Seahawks have not played Jacksonville this year, correct?
No. I know.
I feel like I know the Rams. No, they did. They did play Jacksonville. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and the
Seahawks losses. Yeah, 20-10. Yeah, and the Rams
Seahawks handled them too. Yeah.
So
Seahawks handled them.
If you look at the Jags losses,
and the Rams. The Rams beat Jacksonville as well.
We're going to talk about this in a couple minutes. The Jaguars' only losses, and by the way, they beat the Niners. By the way, they lost to the
Seahawks,
the Rams, and the Texans.
There was a technical error in the scoreboard.
Claire. A little counting issue. Yeah.
The Jags have great losses. All these teams, the only team in your top 10 that I'm reluctantly agreeing with you for now that does not have a foolproof resume is Buffalo, because the Bills have some stinker losses in there.
I am with you. I totally agree with that, but we pride ourselves on not being box score watchers.
Yeah.
And to see what happened against the Patriots 2 weeks ago, like we have to put Josh Allen there. He just wills the game into existence.
Yes. With every Bills season, you have to account for at least 3 to 4 games where Josh Allen looks like one of the worst quarterbacks you've ever seen.
Horrible. Shouldn't even
Like,
be in the NFL.
It's just protocol. He has to get those out of his system. It's the only way he could really lock in for the postseason. He has to hit absolute rock bottom in every statistical category as a quarterback. So for him this year, losing to Miami and throwing the ball at will away recklessly like he was drunk, I think that's totally fine for the grand calculus of this season, which is now wide ass open.
Yeah, and I think we can make the argument, like, now that I do
when the Niners play the Bills in the Super Bowl, is that what you're going to say? Or
yeah, okay, yeah. You know what? I'm not as pushbacky on you today, because if you
why is that?
Because if you look at our company-wide fantasy league, I had George Kittle, and I needed about 25, 30 points going into last night to win and go to the finals. George Kittle ends up going off. I win by 2 points after not starting Justin Herbert for some reason. And now I'm going to the finals, and I get the prize that we're giving out, which is a fairly substantial prize. So I lock in at least one of those prizes. And I'm playing
I don't know
Luke.
why you brought that up. Yes, I lost.
Yeah, you had a bad night.
Finals last night.
Yep.
I needed a miracle game from Jonathan Taylor and Christian McCaffrey.
And Juwan Jennings.
And we were so close. Which, by the way, I just want to say, if you're still alive in fantasy this year, if you're still, in the positives, finals, championships, this probably more so than any other year I've ever seen, you're a ball knower. Like, this is the year where if you're sticking around, you either got so lucky in the draft that you have this complicated, intricate roster of guys who stayed healthy because, guys have been just taken to the woodshed all year, or you just know ball and you got great Rolodex players. And I think it's good for the show that one of us is in the finals, because if I can't do it, it's got to be you. And
I did think it was going to be you versus me for a while here.
That was on my calendar as well. I didn't want to bring it up because the viewers don't care, but it was looking that way. And
Luke got really lucky this week with Chase Brown going off for 35 points or whatever.
Yeah, that was disgusting. He's one of our engineers for the Wonder Fan app. By the way, that's what sponsors the show. The Wonder Fan Show, proud sponsor, Wonder Fan app. Sports Fan Rewards app. You can only win using Wonder Fan. You don't have to be a Niners fan to like Wonder Fan. Sometimes teams lose, unlike the Niners who haven't lost in a while. And when your teams lose, it can suck. But if you use Wonder Fan while watching the Jets play, you can get some cash rewards back just for being a fan. No other app is like Wonder Fan. Every single game, every single team, each season. Get on Wonder Fan now. You're leaving money on the table, just not by using Wonder Fan. You can only win. And if you're a Niners fan using Wonder Fan, life could not be better. It is just the way I'll say this, I'll sum this up because I'm sure the viewer is ready to make him or herself a bleach cocktail at this point, is if you want to say, hey, Seattle 1, Rams 2, Bills 3, Jags 4, Patriots 5, Broncos 6, Texans 7, Niners 8, Bears 9, Chargers 10, Eagles 11, Steelers 12, but technically 16 because it's coming. 9 and 8 is coming. It's inevitable. I'd be okay with that. But that's conditional because each week we get closer to week 18 where the Niners have the battle for the 1 seed. And of course, if the Niners get the 1 seed. That's home field throughout the season. You know, we
Yep.
talked about this ad nauseum. I think at that point, if the Niners beat Seattle with home field advantage, with Fred Warner coming back, with Shanahan in his bag of tricks, are you ever going to take another team beating the Niners?
I guess you make a really good point there. I can't even the gears were turning, but if I suppose if they do beat the Seahawks, then you have
Like
home
they
field
already
throughout
have.
the playoff. You make a really good point, man, and I hate to agree with you because I'm so fucking tired of hearing about Bay Area sports, but you make a really good point.
I will say, I cannot be naive and just think, oh, God is great. Niners win, Warriors win, the Giants get Shohei. You know, I think reality is very much real here. If we do fall to either the Bears or we lose at home to Seattle, which could happen because our defense shows it, as great as they are, and that pick six was just so necessary. It just absolutely deflated that whole Rivers family completely. I think 2 or 3 left the game while the other 12 stayed. But
12,000.
if we are able to, you know, get one of these games, can't get the other, we go on the road, you know, depending on where we go, you know, weather, injuries. I don't want to go to Philly, not because I don't want to play the Eagles. I just don't want to be on the road. I don't want to be where it's cold. I hate going to the link. I think it's riddled with injury and death and plague and scum and tetanus. I want no part of that.
Fans.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want any part of that. I do think there's an element of going to a place like LA isn't that big of a punishment. That's just Levi South. But I don't think that's even possible for the Rams now. The Rams are out. They've lost the ability to imagine that. They have lost the ability to host a playoff game. I mean, who would have thought?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I did because I watched the Niners beat the Rams in Levi South. Listen, I just think the Niners can control their own destiny. And the reason why that is so important this year more than any other year is because you have the possibility that you literally don't have to get on another plane. Starting yesterday, that was your last flight because you're home against Chicago, you're home against Seattle. You win both of those games. You're just home. You're just in rehab in San Francisco. You win all those games. You got 2 weeks. You're rehabbing again until the Super Bowl in your own stadium. So that might have been the last flight the Niners have taken. And I know how much I hate flying. I can assure you there's guys that hate flying there. That's motivation enough for me, at least. I mean, I was a kicker in high school. If I knew I didn't have to travel, I would have made every kick. Every kick.
They took 3 flights. They've taken two flights actually since mid-November. That's insane.
Are you saying because they could have driven to a game or
no? Well, no. They played in Cleveland, and then they played
right.
Indianapolis, and the week before that they were home. So the last time they flew was November 16th.
Yeah. Well,
other than the other 2 ones outside of that.
I mean, they probably let go of their travel agent. It's probably pretty simple to, you know, I bet you Kyle can book all the hotels himself. Yeah. He's just, I mean, listen, I'm happy with the power rankings you've created here. I'll allow it. It's conditional, you know, but I don't have to worry about the Texans or the Jags or the Broncos or the Patriots and Bills. I don't have to worry about all these teams. I just got to worry about one of them. One. And that's who we play in the Super Bowl. And I'm glad I got that soundbite of you saying that you are fully okay with taking the Niners every week after Seattle. I don't even want to give you the benefit of, yeah, no, I know. I don't
know if I said that. I don't know if I said that. I said, you make a good point that if they have home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs and also the last 2 weeks of the season, that is a very big advantage to them.
I do want to give you time to shed light on the Steelers before we transition to our great interview with Mike Brodsky. Just what you said to me earlier, I'll let you go right now. Let it rip.
Everybody knows what's happening. The stars always align. So we know officially that Mike Tomlin has secured his 976th consecutive winning season.
It's
So
in.
to do
Done.
so, you have to go 9-8, right? It's already done. You already did it. So they're 9-6 right now. Should be
They're 9-6. Yeah.
9-6.
Two
So
games left.
they have 2 games left, obviously. And the NFL gods or the script writers or whatever kind of conspiracy we have going in the background, they know that the Steelers must not go 10-5 or
10-6, 10-7 or whatever.
10-7. Yeah. They need to go 9-8. That was terrible math on my part.
It's fine. Yeah. I'm still trying to adjust to daylight savings, so it's
Yes.
fine.
The Steelers cannot go 10-7. They must be going 9-8. So what do? They plant this guy in the field, in the stands at the Lions Stadium, and they say, "Go piss off DK Metcalf. He's the perfect candidate for this." And I saw actually Tom Pelissero just put up a post. It says, as DK Metcalf awaits his appeals on his 2-game suspension, the video of the aftermath of the altercation with the fan, he says, that was the goal, folks, to get him to punch him. Why would Brian Windhorst, why would that be? Now, why is that? Because the NFL and the scriptwriters sent him there to piss DK off because the Steelers cannot go 10-7. They must be going 9-8, and the only way to do that is to get their number 1 wide receiver suspended.
There's been a couple times this year, guys, where we may have said something that was wrong, but our intentions were dead right. We were wrong about the Dolphins. Right. So we're ball knowers like 29% of the time. And that 29%, if you round up, it really is more like 89. Because we said Miami's going to beat the Steelers on Monday night, and it has nothing to do with Miami. It's all because the Steelers need to go 9-8. Well, I guess Tua decided, hey, I don't want to change the narrative about how there's dog hair everywhere. I don't want to change the narrative about how I am perceived to play in cold weather. I'm going to do my best to make sure that narrative sticks around. So we got a Tua Tagovailoa dog shit game because he just wants to make sure that he's still regarded as a warm weather player so that when he and Miami part ways, no one will get him in cold weather. He's only going to a place on the West Coast, maybe Houston,
Arizona.
and it was a strategic move by the Tagovailoa camp. And I respect him for that because that's a guy with a lot of money that wants to play in a nice place. I totally hear that. I mean, you're probably looking at the next backup in Tampa Bay or maybe Jacksonville. Probably not San Francisco. Maybe. Who knows? That could be kind of fun. 2 of the backup. But, the reality is we were wrong about that game, but we were right about the vision.
The vision was there.
They're going to finish 9-8. It's happening.
I hope to God they do. I think the Ravens will beat them. I do think Week 18 the Ravens will beat them. I worry about the Browns. I worry about because Judkins.
I'm not worried.
Judkins just snapped his leg in half.
I'm not worried. I think that game actually might have been part of Stefanski's plan to get the Shador. Hey, why aren't you starting Shador? You're crazy. Do you hate the Sanders family? I think that was Stefanski's long-term plan of making sure that they realize, guys, this isn't working. He might go. I don't know if it's Gabriel. I don't know. He might have a running back kind of run the Army and Navy offense, right? It might just be no throwing, all running. I mean, that game could be 10-9. I think that's a defense Myles Garrett masterclass game. I can't wait for it. I can't wait.
And he's also going to be trying to break the sack record. I think he's tied right now or half a sack away?
He's one complete because you know how sacks are there's half sacks.
Half sack.
He's one sack away, one full 100% sack from the record. I think he's going to get it against Rodgers.
Oh yeah,
that just screams and Rodgers. Say what you want about Rodgers as a guy. I could totally see Rodgers pulling a Favre for Michael Strahan and sort of taking a knee, but in a sack manner. Now I don't think Strahan's going to go after. I don't think Strahan's going to go after Rodgers like that guy from the Jets went after Favre.
Yeah. I was just going to bring that up, how he pressed him hardcore. It was never going to be broken. What was it? It was probably 15 sacks at the time.
Yeah, dude. all you need is like just 21st century medicine, and you could break that 2 or 3 times in a row. Anyways, but I guess that's another good legacy for the Jets, a record that was always meant to be broken. Built on a house of cards. Anyways, I digress. Point is, I love the Browns in this game. I love that it comes down to a finale. Baltimore Steelers. I mean, that's what we want. Niners are already in. Steelers are not in. All they're doing is just bolstering up their opportunity again. And if you losing DK, it's perfectly in
Perfect
line
storm.
narrative. Yeah, it's perfect storm. I know one thing. I wouldn't want to play the Steelers in the playoffs because that is still home field, and Rodgers in the playoffs is still scary. Like that is, I didn't think they would get there, to be honest with you. I thought the Lions would win if the refs just. I don't know. I mean, I just say what you want about the last play, but I feel like it would have been in America's best interest if Detroit still has a chance, right? I mean, isn't that what?
I agree. I feel like, and it's kind of not to keep going on about this, but I feel like the Lions are like the opposite of what the Jags are. Like
right.
we feel like they're really disgusting, but they're really not that good. And then we look over at Jacksonville and we're like, okay, whatever.
And they're amazing,
destroying every team.
That is a great point. I feel like if you and I go out and we're talking about teams we love, like that's when it comes down to is how do you define a team in a sports bar? I think you and I can both say, oh, Dan Campbell, just a total trickster. I mean, you never know what the Lions are going to do. Unpredictable as hell. Gritty. They got the whole city of Detroit behind him. Goff's on his revenge tour. Like, we know exactly what this team is. And we could not be more wrong. They are just so average. They're so like Goff pumpkins a ton.
Yeah. Like they're really not good especially after last year. Like you have all this star power on your team. Like all these big names,
Exactly.
And then Jacksonville's just over there like,
Duval.
I'm winning all the games. I'm destroying arguably the best team in the country. Nobody
it's a perfect
cares.
Transition.
It's like the steps.
You guys are going to love this interview. You're going to love this interview with Mike Brodsky from the Florida National News. We also talk a little bit about the upcoming Pop-Tarts Bowl and Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. It's a good show. Stick around. Mike Brodsky here so he can help us define the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we're back and joined by a very knowledgeable guest, which is great because we know ball only 29% of the time, even on a good day. Mike Brodsky from the Florida National News. You come at a perfect time. You cover the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's perfect because that's a team we know nothing about.
We respect them, but we don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think not a lot of people really do. I mean, I think they kind of, if you listen to what they have to say in a lot of the post-game press conferences, they kind of recognize they're not getting a lot of love, a lot of respect from the rest of the NFL or even the fans necessarily outside of Jacksonville. And that's fine. They don't really care. They're just, trying to do what they can to prove themselves.
Respectfully, and I mean this as a connoisseur of fan bases, how big is the Jacksonville Jaguars fan base?
That's interesting. I mean, I think it's certainly growing, but at the same time, there are plenty of other more major markets that have far more fans. And even when you go to the Jaguars games, a lot of times you're going to see a lot of jerseys from the visiting fan bases, right? So whoever they're playing, certainly I know, Evan, you're a Jets fan, and there were a lot of Jets jerseys at the last Jaguars home game. So I can tell you, that's one of the challenges is just trying to grow the local Jacksonville Jaguars fan base. Now, for what it's worth, they are going to pump about $1.3 billion into a major stadium renovation. The stadium renovation has already begun. They're going to be doing it the rest of this season, all next season. And then in 2027, they're going to be relocating the team for one season, probably to Orlando. It's not 100% sure, but it's like 99% sure they're coming to Orlando for the 27th season. And then by the time they return in 28, there's going to be this brand new stadium that hopefully will attract everybody to Jacksonville, because by that point, maybe they'll have some Super Bowl wins under their belt or something along those lines and get more of the fans out.
Interesting. I did have a thought. Would you say there are more Jacksonville Jaguars fans in Jacksonville or in London or Europe?
Oh, that's an interesting point. Well, I think they actually do have a very strong international fan base, and that's one of the reasons why the owner, Shad Khan, loves to play in London. If they can do 2 games a year in London, they're all about that. They're all for it. So yeah, I mean, when they go out to London, they sell out those games, no problem. I mean,
Right.
so yeah, there's definitely a big fan base in London. In Jacksonville, I mean, they'll announce attendance of 60 plus thousand, and certainly when they have some really big games, or like when they made the wild card for the playoffs a couple of years back, and they were able to sell maybe closer to 70,000 tickets. They can sell a lot of tickets. They can get a lot of the fans out, but at the same time, sometimes they distribute tickets, and you can see there are a lot of empty seats in the upper levels and things like that. So maybe it's not a true sellout. But London, I mean, you see the fan base in London definitely comes out to support them.
It definitely looks like there's more than 5 or 6, Evan. So I think that's
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
we'll give them we'll double it. 12.
yeah. But don't get greedy here. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
I think when it comes to Jacksonville, and Evan, you can piggyback off of this, we're looking for, I guess, ways to describe this team when we go out with our buddies. Because we feel like we have a good pulse on most of the teams in the NFL. But if you were to speak to just a sports lover in America, what is like a two-sentence elevator pitch you can describe this Jacksonville Jaguars team? Because everyone wants to be Adam Schefter, or they want to be Skip Bayless when they're talking about teams. Oh, they got no defense, but they just run it down your throat, blah blah blah. We have absolutely no idea what this Jacksonville Jaguars team is, and it's not because we don't watch their games. Evan, front row seat watching the Jags just murder his Jets. So but even in that decimation, he was still looking for answers. How would you describe this Jacksonville Jaguars team in like a 2 to 3 sentence elevator pitch?
Yeah. This team is really, they're scraping by. They're scrappy. They somehow manage to win games, and nobody really knows how. I mean, they're led by Trevor Lawrence, who obviously has a pretty big contract, but yet a lot of people don't really give him the respect that they might give to, a Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes before the injury, things like that. I mean, certainly, in the past several games, you look at how well he's done, and it's kind of mind-boggling because he's never really had this kind of a stretch just over the last several games.
Yeah.
Of anybody. I mean, he's had an amazing run here, and I'm not even sure exactly where it came from. But I think a lot of it has to do with the coach. They got a brand new coach, Liam Cohen, who certainly looks very different compared to like Doug Peterson, or if you go back. I mean, I was also there for the Urban Meyer fiasco several years ago, but Coach Cohen is getting the job done. He has these guys believing that they can win, and for all the injuries they've been dealing with, he still figures out a way to win every game. I mean, I don't know how they do it. I mean, they've had all kinds of challenges at many of the different positions. And yet somehow, they bring in like Jacoby Myers, and all of a sudden the guy becomes a superstar again, and just recently signed a contract extension, right? So somehow he's got these guys figuring out how to win, and keep in mind, this is also without our number one pick, Travis Hunter. Everybody kind of figured, right? I mean, because Travis Hunter came in and they thought this guy was going to be like the Messiah and he's going to be amazing. And then all of a sudden he hurts himself in a practice, and before you know it, he's out for the season. So, here's a guy who they were very excited. He's going to play both sides of the ball. And he was doing it. And yet he's gone. He's out for the season. Hopefully he'll be back next fall, and we'll see what happens and what he brings to the table. But without him and even all the other injuries they've had, they still figure out how to win. They get it done.
And the GM of the team, who looks no older than 12 years old, has somehow managed to make Jacoby Myers look like that. Brenton Strange is a rookie tight end who looks amazing. Yeah, Brian Thomas Jr. and Parker Washington, who nobody even knew this guy's name, is going off every week.
It's amazing. Yeah, BTJ, he had a couple of games there where he couldn't really hold on to the ball, but I don't know if they got him some stickum or what they got, but somehow he's holding on the ball now. He's getting it. He's getting the job done. Travis Etienne all of a sudden is catching passes. He's not only is he a great running back, but he's receiving. He's getting some screen passes from Trevor. So they've just figured out how to get it done. I mean, they've been practicing some wacky plays here and there, and then bring them out in the game and surprise the other teams, and somehow they're winning.
And surprise the fans too. It seems like in that synopsis there, what I gathered is they're winning games, but we're still not sure how. Is that fair?
I think that's fair. I mean, it's kind of a mystery. I mean, in the sense that you don't really have. I mean, I know that I think they just announced that Ross Matisic is going to be like the long snapper in the All Pro in the Pro Bowl. But they just announced him. But I mean, I don't. Other than him, how many other superstars do the Jaguars really have? They really don't.
So that's the only Pro Bowler.
He's the Pro Bowler. I don't know of anybody else that made the Pro Bowl. At least I didn't notice anybody else on the list. So, they're not a team where a lot of teams you can point to. This is the superstar. This is the guy. He's the one that drives the offense. He's the one that's holding down the defense. Whatever it is. We don't really quite have that. It's not like you can point to any one particular player, but when you put them all together, and props to Coach Cohen. I mean, I got to tell you, when I met Coach Cohen at the NFL meetings at the Breakers in Palm Beach back in March, you could sort of tell he was on fire. I mean, he was like all excited to get out there and really just bring his brand of football to Jacksonville. And, you got to give it credit. I mean, they got the young GM. Yes, they got Tony Baselli kind of taking on a leadership role as well. But somehow put all these newbies together with no experience, and they're getting the job done. I mean, this is Coach Cohen's first team as a head coach. And, for the general manager, his first team as a general manager. Tony Baselli has never really had a front office position. He's always been in the broadcast booth. But they're getting it done.
And that's just a testament to, I guess, Coach Cohen and the GM of like, we cannot point to one specific guy other than, you could say Trevor Lawrence or BTJ.
Sure.
But if you look at all their games, most of their wins are blowouts, other than a couple, close games. And then all of their losses are within touchdown.
Super close. And I think, it's funny because after the last loss, that was against the Texans in Houston. It was like Houston came back to win at the last minute, and it was, and they really were angry, furious. I mean, because at the following game, when they did have the win, I believe it was against the Chargers, Coach Cohen just kept talking about, we play better when we are pissed off. And that's what it was. I mean, they really used that loss in Houston to totally dramatically change the mindset of the team. And they haven't lost since. I mean, here they are, 11-4. Same time last year, I think they had 3 wins, at week 16 of the season. So big difference from Coach. Now, obviously, last year was the hottest
team in football.
They are the hottest team in football. I mean, the fact that they beat Denver, I have to admit, it even surprised me. I wasn't necessarily expecting it, but they did it in Denver.
Yeah,
crazy.
What's crazy about that game is we fully thought, all right, this is. Full transparency, we look at Denver as one of the best, if not the best team in football. And we thought, all right, this is the game where Duval, the question mark, is this really where the Linsanity run ends? And we kind of expected a stinker, like a 10-9 game, like just real muddy football, gross rock fight. We got a shootout in Denver where Jacksonville just dominated them, and we don't know why. We just don't know why.
It's a mystery to me as well, but they got it done. They somehow got it done. I mean, Coach Payton, legendary career. I mean, he's been doing this forever. Coach Cohen comes in and, first year out of the gate, figures out how to beat the Broncos. I mean, it's amazing.
So I guess to put this in a bow for all things Jacksonville, you consider yourself very, very connected to the Jacksonville team. You cover the team since 2020. You're in the locker room, you got good pulse on all things Jacksonville, and you would say for the most part, you're just not sure why this is happening.
Well, other than everybody in that locker room believes they can win. I mean, they all really believe that it's their destiny. They're gonna make the postseason. They're already locked into the playoffs, and they've got their eye on the Super Bowl. I mean, they all believe they're gonna be there, and They probably like they got a great shot. They probably will. They probably will make it. But it's very hard to sort of pinpoint, is there one player that's doing this? Is there one thing that's changed? I can't even put my finger on it other than the fact that somehow they figured out a way to win. I mean, because we've seen other seasons where they've come close, they've done well, they've had, some players that kind of stepped up, but they just couldn't get the job done, right? They just weren't able to get. I mean, the deepest they really got was winning the wild card game against the Chargers, and even that was a dramatic comeback where they came back at the last minute a few seasons ago.
Okay,
and
so that's a great point. So
yeah,
when that game happened,
Yeah.
in Jacksonville.
Mhm.
Just a tremendous letdown. Did you think that was the peak of all things Jacksonville? You know, like the massive comeback in Jacksonville. Did you think this is as good as it's ever going to get? Was there a moment, because it seems like the following years after that, we got, you know, the Doug Peterson Jacksonville Jaguars, which is what Evan and I, like, I guess in recent memory, why we're so surprised by how they were able to bounce back this year. Was there a sentiment in Jacksonville, Orlando, that, hey, beating Justin Herbert, coming back, this is as good as it's ever going to get? Was that the feeling in Jacksonville?
I mean, at least in recent years, I think yes. I mean, because that's as far as they had gone for a while, right? So, yeah, I mean, it definitely looked like that was it. And then last year, of course, I mean, look, you had Trevor Lawrence getting injured and Mac Jones coming in and stepping up. And, you know, Mac Jones is, listen, he did a decent job considering the situation. But, you know, he's a great backup quarterback, no question about it. But, you know, now that we got a healthy Trevor Lawrence, we've got, you know, Liam Cohen has stepped in to replace Doug Peterson, and this year it feels very different. Like, this is the first year where I think even, you know, the media, you know, is even really believing like maybe they can actually do it. You know, they may actually be able to go all the way.
I think we have one. I got one. I know where you're going with this, Evan. I'm not even going to address it.
Okay, because to let you in on this, Mike, if you say anything Niners related, we'd have you here until about 7 p.m. tonight.
Okay.
I'm not.
So we're not going to talk about Mac Jones. Okay.
This episode is already full of Niners propaganda. I'm just. That is just a great moment for Evan to reflect on how he got to this point. I just want to say one thing about Jacksonville, and then I want to transition. Is it pronounced Duval? Or now, because of how Cohen added a question mark to it, is it forever just Duval?
Listen, the diehards are going to tell you it's Duval. I mean, that's the proper pronunciation. Anybody that gets to do a first Duval, that's how they're going. I know, you know, he changed it up a little bit, and I was trying to ask him after the morning press conference had wrapped up at the NFL meetings, and he refused to kind of re-say it maybe the proper way. I tried to give him an opportunity to do a proper Duval, and he's no, I'm not doing that. So look, he can say it however he wants. If he keeps winning, if he's 11-4, he can Duval. Sure, great, why not? That's for Coach Cohen. He can get a bye and go ahead and say it however he wants to say it.
Yeah,
fair enough.
That's terrific.
No question.
All right, so we can't let you go without at least asking you about this next bit. So, in addition to being a media correspondent for National News covering the Jaguars, you're also a member of the Florida Citrus Sports Team Selection Committee, correct?
Yes, that's right. So Florida Citrus Sports.
You are involved in the overall. It's of massive interest to the Pop-Tarts Bowl and the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. Yes?
Yes. So you are correct. There is, of course, the Pop-Tarts Bowl coming up on December 27th. You got Georgia Tech versus BYU. On the 31st, you've got Michigan versus Texas. So, yeah, I've been a member of the organization going back to about 2013 and part of the team selection committee, also known as the scouting committee. So we scout basically games of any team that's in the Big 10, Big 12, ACC, or SEC, teams that could play into the Pop-Tarts Bowl or the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. And, yes, we do kind of have some input on who we get to select to come to Orlando for the bowl games. But the way that the world is changing, sometimes, you know, we're kind of pushed in a certain direction based on what the conferences tell us, or in the case of Notre Dame, I think we probably would have taken Notre Dame for the Pop-Tarts Bowl, but they decided they weren't going to do any bowl games whatsoever. They just stepped aside entirely, and we took Georgia Tech instead.
Do you have a say in how the Pop-Tart gets sacrificed? Is that part of the question as well?
It's an excellent question, and I wish I did, but I that's actually you know, people at in the Pop-Tarts organization, or Kellanova, I guess, or whoever the parent company is. So yeah, they're the ones that really kind of make those determinations. Though I believe in the case of the Pop-Tarts Bowl,
it's sort of like an arranged, instead of an arranged marriage, it's an arranged murder.
Sort of, but actually, I think it actually comes down to the fans, because I believe this year, you know, In the previous year one, we had one Pop-Tart that sacrificed himself to be eaten by the winning team. Year two, it was a competition, right?
That's right.
I believe it was three of them going head to head. This year, you've got six. Okay, you've got six Pop-Tarts, that are going head to head to compete to see which one of them will be the one that gets eaten. So the Pop-Tarts,
Hunger Games kind of a thing. Like, are they fighting to the death? How does that work?
I think in the context of the bowl itself, it'll probably look and feel a lot like that. I think it's actually like a fan vote. I think the fans are the ones that really make that determination. So it's really up to if any fans out there want to see one of the Pop-Tarts getting eaten over the other one, go ahead and vote. I mean, as long as democracy is still a thing, you might as well vote for your favorite Pop-Tart to be eaten. And so, yes, it's definitely up to the fans to really make that decision. And I think that's really what it all boils down to. But I mean, it's been super popular on social media. We get more hits, more views from that. I mean, can you think of any other bowl mascot that's bigger than the Pop-Tart? I mean, really, it's
the marketing behind that game is absolutely incredible. And actually, I did a video about marketing last week after the Xbox Bowl kicked off. So they took a page out of your guys' book and did that with Master Chief in one end. And it was
okay. Mm-hmm.
It just,
right,
Mike. It seems that you're speaking, very respectfully about the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I have to ask: Did one of those Pop-Tarts that obviously is no longer with us got sacrificed? Were they close to you? Is it too soon to talk about it? I mean, did you lose one of them too early?
They were delicious. They were delicious. That's all I can really say. But no, I mean, I would say that there's. No, I mean, it's an inanimate object. I mean, at the end of the day, I know that, yes, there are anthropomorphic Pop-Tarts running around, so you feel some attachment to them, but they're there to be consumed. They're there to be eaten by the winning team. So, I know, like, having
the person inside the mascot, they survive, correct?
I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm not sure, but I'd like to believe that is the case. But, I will say those playing the role of the Pop-Tart mascot really take it very seriously. And, if it involves a little bit of cannibalism just for the purpose of getting some extra views, it's totally worth it, right?
Anything for views. Yep.
Yeah.
Mike,
So, no, I mean, and now I will mention, since I know we're focusing a lot of attention on the Pop-Tarts, I do want to point out for the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, we do have the return of Prince Chedward. I know people are very excited about this. Oh. Prince Chedward is coming back for the Cheez-It Bowl, so check that out. Last year we had Ched Z, that was sort of the Cheez-It mascot last year, that did an on-field wedding, was actually officiated a wedding on the field during halftime. I don't know if people remember that, but that was very exciting. I mean, he had to be ordained, I guess, as a minister.
Are they still together? Did you know is that marriage?
As far as I know, I haven't heard otherwise, but I'm assuming that they're still happily married, and that probably will be, for purposes of basically marketing Cheez-Its. Let's assume they're going to be together forever and ever.
And Chedward, where was he in his absence? Do you know?
Prince Chedward, that's a good question. I'm sure those questions will be answered during the Citrus Bowl, so definitely tune in if you want the answers.
And with the Cheez-It Bowl, with the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, would they take a page out of the Pop-Tart Bowl? I know, obviously, there was marriage last year. Chedward's returning. Is there any death or sacrifice in the Citrus Bowl? Are we going to see like a red wedding type of thing, but with Cheez-Its situation? Any sort of betrayal I should be worried about?
That's an interesting question, because I have not seen any kind of a script, so it's very possible. It could be a Game of Thrones type of situation like you're describing. I'm not sure. But again, tune in and maybe you'll see bloodshed. I don't know.
To me, it sounds like the writers are keeping this one close to the chest, and so I don't know if they told you that somebody might be dying in this.
It's always a possibility, so I don't want to give too much away.
Great.
Well, that's perfect. Mike, thank you so much for joining.
Yes.
And for all of our viewers and all the fans of the sport, you can watch both the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl and the Pop-Tart Bowl on your TV and earn rewards for it using the Wonder Fan app. We have an awesome display of 2x, 3x rewards for all bowl games. Some are more valuable than others, of course. We'll probably have to do something to honor the Pop-Tart that goes down, honor the family, because there's 6 of them. I don't know if it's a family or if it's a family friend. Somebody's dying. A loved one is leaving us, so we'll have to honor one of those
That's right.
surviving members of the family. But Mike, thank you so much for joining us, and we really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Evan. Thank you, Henry. I appreciate it. Take care. Thank you.